Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about one of the most highly anticipated upcoming PS5 exclusives, that being Insomniac Games' Spider-Man 2. Now this game as of right now is set to release sometime in 2023, and it's not set to be cross-gen, meaning it's not going to release on the PlayStation 4. So one of the things that people are very excited to learn about is some of the new gameplay features that they're going to be bringing to the table with a PS5 only Spider-Man game. There's no doubt that Spider-Man 2 will be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, exclusive game that Sony ends up releasing throughout the entire PlayStation 5 life cycle. I mean, it's Spider-Man, and so we have what appears to be a potential leak of new information regarding this title. I wanted to make sure to go over this with you guys and let you know what's being said. Obviously, you have to take it with a grain of salt, but you can make of it what you will. After going over the leak myself, it seems that a lot of this information that we're being given, at the very least, it sounds very plausible. So if it's made up, it all sounds within the realm of possibility, but it sounds like it's legitimate. So let's go over it. Before we dive into it, do me a favor. If you do end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, be sure to leave it a like. It helps the videos out more than you know. And if you're new here to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button as well. But it says here, reading from CBR.com, Insomniac's Spider-Man 2 details reportedly leak. A recent leak suggests that Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will greatly expand upon the original game with multiple playable characters, an overhauled movement system, and unexpected villains. The leak comes by way of Reddit, where an Insomniac Games employee spilled some of the details on the game. Using a throwaway account, the developer, who allegedly works on the traversal team for Spider-Man 2, answered some questions from eager fans. The title will reportedly allow players to choose to play missions as either Peter Parker or Miles Morales, each one having unique skills and abilities. Whoever the player doesn't choose to be will be controlled by AI and provide support during the quest. Peter's web trick system has been improved to play more like Miles in Spider-Man Miles Morales, while the wall crawling system has been revamped, allowing for smoother transitions between actions without hindering the player's pace. Continues by saying the speed cap for the game has been greatly improved, meaning players can web swing 1.7 to 1.8 times faster than the original Spider-Man PlayStation 4 game. This is largely due to the PlayStation 5's SSD technology, allowing Insomniac Games to render the levels quicker. The poster also mentions that webs can now be reeled in, acting as a kind of grappling hook to help clear certain objects when moving around New York City. As for Venom and the symbiotic suit, the supposed employee offered up some details on how they'll feature. Peter will reportedly gain the iconic black suit in the first part of the game, using the symbiotic's tendrils as 4 extra arms in combat. Rather than being an alien, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is pulling from the Ultimate Spider-Man comic books, where Venom was created by Oscorp, something which is referenced in a post-credit scene in the first game. Following an unspecified story event, Peter separates himself from the suit, which takes a new host and becomes Venom. To combat this new villain, Peter develops the 4 robotic arms seen in the game's reveal trailer. The post goes on to say that Kraven the Hunter will serve as the game's main antagonist as Peter and Miles fight against his army of mercenaries. The poster does say that while they're unsure of secondary villains, both Lizard and Mysterio appear in the game. As for heroes, no other Marvel heroes will be included in the story, but the amount of Easter eggs alluding to a larger universe has significantly increased. So as you can see, that's quite a bit of information that has allegedly been leaked out regarding Spider-Man 2, and it all sounds very plausible. As I said, I think that when you go watch the Spider-Man 2 reveal trailer, Insomniac Games was hinting at a lot of different things. I think that being able to play as either Peter Parker or Miles Morales just makes sense. After playing as Miles Morales, you're going to be able to choose, and I think it's nice that they're both going to have their own unique skills and abilities. Again, it doesn't sound that surprising. I think that's kind of what we all expected. This employee is not revealing anything like co-op. They're saying that if you choose to play as Peter, Miles will be controlled by AI, vice versa. So that's interesting. It sounds like they're not going to actually have co-op, and I feel like they may have stressed that in their blog post by emphasizing it's going to be a single player experience. But I think some people were holding out hope that there would be some co-op, but we do have to understand that Insomniac Games is apparently developing a multiplayer game that is allegedly set in the Marvel gaming universe here that they're clearly building. And so we'll have to see what that's about. I think it's also interesting that they're going to be leveraging the PS5 SSD. That also, to me, is to be expected because as far as we know, Spider-Man is not coming to PS4, Spider-Man 2. It's going to be a PS5 exclusive, so that means they will be able to leverage the SSD and they won't have to hold back. And it's going to be awesome, honestly, to see how much quicker we can traverse the city and just kind of go much faster, right? That's something that Sony was showing off to their investors before the PS5 was even revealed, showing off, hey, here's what we can achieve with our SSD technology, showing how fast they can move the camera through the city and it can keep up. It can just load in that fast. It can load in instantaneously. So that's going to be awesome. I also think it's interesting that they're talking about the symbiotic suit and letting us know that, yeah, Peter Parker is going to get that early on, but something's going to happen where it's going to detach, and I guess, he just decides, I'm going to develop these 4 robotic arms. Again, that was seen in the trailer, so it does make sense. We know that Kraven the Hunter was going to be a big part of this. You heard him in the trailer. And so, yeah, it all sounds very plausible. One thing that I did pay attention to here that I thought was interesting is apparently the amount of Easter eggs alluding to a larger universe has been significantly increased. Now, that to me is interesting because we know that Insomniac is also working on a Wolverine game. And the big question is, are these games set in the same universe? Is Sony in the process with Insomniac Games working with Marvel here in the process of making their own Marvel gaming universe? It seems like that is, again, very plausible, and that's the direction they're headed in. So the fact that they're going to be shoving in even more Easter eggs, I think that may tell us something. I think that may give us a little bit of a hint as to what exactly it is they're trying to achieve here. And so there you go. Those are the leaked details about Spider-Man 2. You guys can let me know what you think down in the comments below. I will be interested to see what you had to say. Again, leave the video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.